Imagine living in ancient China, centuries before the word thyroid even existed. People in villages would sometimes develop a swelling in the neck, what we now call a goiter. But in the language of the classics, it was called ying, an accumulation or a swelling of the throat. Now, how did Chinese physicians approach this mysterious condition? Their solutions that they devised may surprise you. Now, in this video here today, we're going to discuss some of the history of thyroid treatments in traditional Chinese medicine, as well as modern formulas that have been shown to help. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Hein, board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and author of the health book, Master the Day. Let's jump in. Now, the history of thyroid treatment in Chinese medicine is interesting. The earliest records go all the way back to the Zhou dynasty, like around 1000 BC, when seaweed, kelp, and shellfish were already used as medicine. Now, ancient doctors noticed something simple but profound. In particular, in coastal regions, people who ate seaweed rarely developed these neck swellings. Now, by the Han Dynasty, from about 200 BC to 200 AD, medical texts such as the Shenlong Bencao Jing, the Divine Farmer's Materia Medica, classified haizao, which is sargassum, and kunbu, which is kelp, as treatments specifically for neck swellings. Now, the logic wasn't about iodine, of course, but they spoke of softening hardness and resolving phlegm. And then in the Tang and the Song dynasties, physicians like Chen Cangqi and later Zhu Danxi refined that treatment further. So they had emphasized that thyroid swellings were linked to something called qi stagnation and phlegm accumulation, often triggered by emotional constraint. So for example, famous Dr. Zhu Danxi wrote, "Ying swelling arises from qi binding and phlegm coagulating in the throat. To treat it, disperse constraint, move qi, and soften the hardness." Now, this insight led to a combination of seaweed with herbs that move qi. Like, for example, one we'll talk about is called xiakutao, prunella, and also herbs that resolve phlegm, like banxia, penelia. Now, what's remarkable is how close these ancient treatments were to the modern biomedical discovery of iodine deficiency as a cause of goiter. Without knowing the chemistry, physicians recognized that seaweed and kelp, rich in iodine, directly reduced neck swellings. Now, today in traditional Chinese medicine, thyroid issues, whether it's hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism, or nodules, are still approached with this classical lens. For example, qi stagnation and phlegm nodules for goiter, or Hashimoto's nodules, yin deficiency with fire for hyperthyroidism, with symptoms like sweating, palpitations, and insomnia, or yang deficiency with phlegm dampness for hypothyroidism, with fatigue, coldness, and swelling. And yet the roots of this approach trace back thousands of years to the simple wisdom that the sea holds medicine for this magical swelling of the throat. Now, of course, ancient doctors didn't have lab tests or thyroid panels. They read the body's signals, the way that the qi moved, and the patterns of imbalance. And interestingly, those same patterns still show up today, whether it is fatigue or weight changes or anxiety or brain fog. Now, if you've ever wondered where your own thyroid symptoms may be coming from, I've put together a free quiz that helps you uncover your unique pattern based on both modern science and traditional Chinese medicine. So just click the link below, take that quiz at dralexhein.com/quiz, and you'll get a personalized breakdown that shows you the root imbalances driving your symptoms, as well as where to start on that path to healing. Now let's jump into thyroid herb number 1, called xiakutao or prunella. Now, xiakutao is both a thyroid herb and an anti-cancer herb. It's been heavily studied for thyroid-related conditions, especially nodular goiter and Graves' disease. Now, in clinical trials, in particular meta-analyses, they report that when combined with standard treatments, prunella xiakutao significantly reduces thyroid nodule size and lowers free T3 and free T4 levels. Now, in patients with Graves' disease, various forms of it, meaning granules like the powders I give patients or the oral liquid, consistently improve TSH, free T3, free T4, and also even autoimmune antibody levels. Now, thyroid herb number 2 is called Cordyceps sinensis. Now, Cordyceps is a renowned medicinal fungus used in TCM formulas for thyroid autoimmunity. Now, in one particular meta-analysis of 14 randomized controlled trials, specifically involving Hashimoto's thyroiditis, they showed that Cordyceps preparations reduced the thyroid autoantibodies and inflammatory markers, and improved the free T4 when combined with levothyroxine, for example. Thyroid herb number 3 from Chinese medicine is called huangqi, or astragalus. Huangqi is commonly used in a lot of immune boosting tonics in Chinese medicine. It's used for low immunity, people who get sick easily, and cold and flu prevention. Now, studies suggest it has anti-inflammatory, immunomodulatory benefits, and also helps in autoimmune thyroid conditions like Hashimoto's. Thyroid herb number 4 is called jobeimu. So jobeimu is the bulb of a plant called fritillaria. And this is a long-standing traditional Chinese medicine herb, usually used for coughs. Now, it's considered to have what are called bitter and cold properties, and they say it's used for treating lung and heart issues. Importantly, in this case, jobeimu is used in traditional TCM formulas for hyperthyroidism and goiter, particularly an ancient formula called Haizao Yuhu decoction. Now, this formula is basically iodine enriched, and it's widely used to treat goiter, hyperthyroidism, and even Hashimoto's, or sometimes thyroid cancer. And the 5th herb for thyroid issues is called huangqin, or scutellaria. Now, one study found that formulas containing scutellaria bicalensis, among others, actually improved your thyroid function in patients with Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And now, while huangqin is not always primarily used for thyroid issues, it's often used for broader, for example, endocrine supportive or anti-inflammatory herbal combinations. So it's used for inflammation as well as other hormonal issues. Something that's really important about using these herbs and formulas for thyroid issues is don't just watch this video and supplement with these herbs, because a licensed traditional Chinese medicine doctor like myself would always be using a base formula and then layer on individual herbs targeted to the presentation. I would not recommend just taking high doses of these individual herbs for your thyroid, because on its own that can be dangerous. So that's what I have for you here today, guys. Don't forget, if you're wondering where your symptoms are coming from, download that free quiz right below this video, right? We'll go into where specifically your symptoms come from, whether it's from your thyroid or from something else, as well as we've linked to our top videos on those topics and those symptoms that can really help you. So it's dralexheyne.com/quiz. And then if you want to work with me one-to-one in my clinic in Los Angeles or virtually via telemedicine, I work with a limited number of new patients every single month. And this is for someone who needs specialized targeted advice. You might have seen your PCP, your labs might look fine, but you know you still have issues and you have an actual problem. So that's where specialized, targeted, customized care comes in. So you can just go to dralexheyne.com/clinic, or there's information right below this video here if you wanted to book a visit with me. Now, besides that, there are other videos here I've put together on healing herbs that can help your thyroid or specific health conditions with Chinese medicine.